If you've clicked on this video, then all I can say is buckle up, because this video is not only a selective review of the animated series, it is also an incursion into my country's historical background, specifically the ruthless ruler who served as inspiration for Dracula. It tackles fiction, myth, and reality, and also addresses how we Romanians feel about the association with vampires, the supernatural, and Nadia Comaneci.
Gorgeous routine, beautiful, and the crowd loved it.
All jokes aside, I had another one of my lovely subscribers suggest I make a review on Castlevania the animated series from my point of view as a Romanian, which I think is an excellent opportunity to share some interesting facts about our beloved villain extraordinaire. While neither the game nor animation producers specified that Romania was the main inspiration and would rather hint at movies, pop culture, and vampire aesthetics, certain aspects of Castlevania are deeply rooted in Romania's identity and history. For example, the story is set in Wallachia, one of the three historical regions that once existed within now modern Romania. The castle is inspired by the ones found in Eastern Europe, dare I say Bran Castle. The look of the villages and dilapidated cemeteries resemble the ones you would find in my country. And of course, Dracula himself is addressed as Count Vlad Tepes, so it doesn't get more authentic than that. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's see what Castlevania the animation does right. And we'll start off, of course, with Vlad Tepes. Without doubt, this is fantasy and liberties were taken, but this particular Dracula is one of my favorites from modern media, mainly because he looks like our Romanian ruler Vlad Tepes himself, as you'll see in the pictures. Not only does the character resemble him in physical form, but he is also portrayed as a ruthless and strategic leader who never shies away from bringing retribution on his enemies. Like our national leader, he is short-tempered and extremely proud. In the animation, his lust for revenge is fueled by the loss of his wife Lisa Tepes, while in real life, it stems from his hate against the Ottomans, so this is a smart juxtaposition of the two. Ironic even, since Vlad was a defender of Christianity and fought against the Ottoman Empire to protect his country, in comparison to what we get in the show, having him fight Christianity and humanity as an act of vendetta. Another thing the animation does well is the cruelty portrayal. Castlevania features many violent scenes, mature language, and shocking visuals, which pay tribute to Vlad Tepes' well-known cruelty, but also to those particular times when people had to do everything in their power to survive. Which is why, to some of you, Vlad Tepes might seem unnecessarily savage. But before you're quick to judge, first it's important to understand where that cruelty comes from. You see, when they were young boys, both Vlad and his brother Radu were taken hostages by the Ottoman Empire. So you can imagine most of their childhood was spent in the enemy camp, enduring daily humiliation and torture. Later on, his entire family was killed and betrayed by nobles, a political context that allowed the Ottomans to take even more substantial control of Wallachia. This meant Wallachia had to pay heavy taxes, send soldiers over to Ottoman campaigns, have Muslim practices introduced into a territory that was Christian, and basically be drained of its independence and freedom. Many stories about Vlad Tepes attest to his brutality and have inspired writers and creators to associate him with the vampire, and that is not illogical. He did have extreme bloodlust and he did impale his enemies. A lot. There are even stories of him dipping his bread in blood and eating it at the dinner table. Once, according to legend, Vlad Tepes invited corrupt nobles to a grand feast, where he exposed their betrayals, and as punishment, he impaled the older ones and forced their sons to build Poianar Fortress, ensuring their family's downfall. He burned the village of lazy people once and even had a cup made of pure gold placed at the public fountain in Târgoviște that no one dared to steal because of the terrifying punishments he inflicted on criminals. So as you can see, it makes sense for Castlevania to have Dracula unleash pandemonium on Wallachia, massacre the city of Greșit, torture humans, and burn down villages. Now, I can't talk about Castlevania without mentioning the beauty of politics. One of my favorite themes surrounding the animation is, of course, the politics, proven to be accurate and finely tuned. We are witnesses to psychological warfare, which both Vlad Tepes and Castlevania's Dracula display with an almost terrifying talent. Both of them terrify foes and get into their enemies' heads by impaling, terrifying, and intimidating humans. After Lisa dies, Dracula unleashes a campaign of extermination against humans, releasing the creatures of hell to feast upon the guilty and innocent alike. Similarly, Vlad impaled thousands of Ottoman soldiers near Târgoviște to instill terror in any invaders. When Sultan Mehmed II launched his attack on Wallachia in 1462, he discovered what looked like a forest of 20,000 impaled bodies, corpses left to rot on a field as a warning, and the hellish sight was so horrifying that it caused the Ottomans to retreat in terror. Another thing these two have in common is that they are both master manipulators and deceivers. Vlad Tepes is known to have tricked Ottomans and Hungarians into believing he was loyal to suit his political needs, only to betray them strategically when the time was right, favoring tactical methods over direct confrontation. Castlevania's Dracula rarely engages in direct fights and manipulates others to fight for him, all the while enforcing supreme loyalty. There is also the issue of Alucard, who the media has coined as Dracula's de facto son. Yet, according to history, Vlad had several children, Mihna the Mean being his direct heir to his reign. Still, Alucard from the animation is an amazing character whose personality and mannerisms resonate with Eastern European sensibilities. Alucard showcases that specific Eastern European sarcasm and dry humor shaped by centuries of political struggle and suffering. He is reserved and composed, reflecting our tendency to conceal emotions under a hardened exterior, while his speech and posture prove an aristocratic air that perfectly aligns with his position as a noble within the Wallachian territory. So while his character is fictional, his essence is plausible and extremely authentic. So the main question for today is, how do we Romanians feel about being the authority on vampires? Well, some people, such as myself, have nothing against this association. On the contrary, we see this vampire stigma as an opportunity to introduce foreigners to other interesting facts about Romania. I mean, we have an entire touristic branch dedicated to vampires, while some they really dislike it when others refer to Vlad Tepes as Dracula, or like we say it here in Romania, Dracula. And I can understand that side as well, because history is always exaggerated and manipulated to suit some interests, and in our case we don't necessarily dislike the supernatural aspect, but the fact that Vlad Tepes is famous across the globe for his cruelty and mystical identity, rather than the achievements and the qualities that made him such a capable ruler. To this day, he is still one of our most admired historical figures, because unlike the politicians we have today, he had our country's best interests at heart. He had a spine and kept us stable, safe, and independent in a time where the Ottoman Empire would have swallowed us whole if it weren't for his political brutality. We even have a saying, "Unde ești tu, Tepes, Doamne?" which roughly translates to, "God, where are you, Tepes, now?" which we commonly use when we see acts of corruption in our country. So, as you can see, he's still pretty much alive in our national mentality. This is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned something new, or at least got the chance to see Castlevania in a different light. There are many things to talk about and expand upon. It's impossible for me to cover everything in just one video, so if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments section below. You know I reply to each and every one of you. And if possible, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. Thank you again, and until next time, take care everyone. Bye!